Welcome to the Poor Man's Gourmet Kitchen, where we share gourmet recipes at a low-budget wonder. Now check this out. First thing you want to do is decide what fish you want to use for your fish tacos. Common recipes are known to use cod, pollock, tilapia, and even swahi. And you can choose to roll your portion fillets in a fish fry like this recipe I've shown you before. These make excellent fish tacos. Or you can even use my beer batter recipe and fry this fish to perfection. It doesn't matter much to me, you just need to decide which way you prefer it. Both recipes are outstanding. But today, I'm going to be using these frozen fish fillets. I bought a bag of 10 for only $3, and I'm going to bake them in the oven as directed at 425 degrees for approximately 18 minutes. Now's a good time to prep your pico de gallo, and I showed you how to make this salsa fresca last video recipe, so you want to be sure to check that out. You also want to chop some thin slices of fresh cabbage and some lime wedges for each taco. Some may consider it just a garnish, but it goes really well with that fish. And by now the fillets should be fully baked. And as you can see here, going with frozen fillets really isn't a bad alternative. Now all you have to do is warm up your tortillas in a hot skillet and just get a little coloring on each side. Then you can throw each one of them face down and you can begin adding your cabbage. And now your fish fillets, nice and crispy, right over the top. Now just hit it with some fresh pico de gallo. And I like to serve these with some crema and those lime wedges. And there you have it, fish tacos right here in the Poor Man's Gourmet Kitchen. Thank you for watching, and be sure to stop by PoorMansGourmetKitchen.com for more recipes and exact ingredients. There's 3 different recipes you want to get going the night before you want to eat your taco salad, like this salsa here. You're also going to want a good guacamole and some really good chili. And my salsa, guacamole, and chili no beans recipe will be included at the end of this video and in the description below. And once all of those are complete, you want to add some red beans to the chili no beans mix you made the night before. And you want to just mix these in and get them cooked for about another half an hour is all, while you prep your vegetables for your salad. Start with some iceberg lettuce, red onion, chopped lunchbox peppers, black olives, cucumber, and red cherry tomatoes. But you can add anything else you'd like. Just give it a good toss. Now instead of a fried tortilla, I'm going to use corn chips, and I'm actually using ranch Doritos. I'm going to plate that salad right over the top. Then ladle in the red beans and chili. Drop in some fresh guacamole. And if you have it, some sour cream, if I can ever get it off the spoon. Now just top it off with some grated cheese, and you can use the salsa as a dressing. And there you have it, taco salad right here in the Poor Man's Gourmet Kitchen. Thank you for watching, and be sure to stop by PoorMansGourmetKitchen.com for more recipes and exact ingredients. Here I've got some boneless chicken thigh meat. And the first thing you want to do is clean them up. Cut off all this fat. The easiest way to do it is turn the blade sideways and start scraping the fat to the edge, and then cut it off. It's that easy. Maybe a little bit tedious, but this is all you gotta do. is work off all the fat and all the ends of the chicken thigh meat. Then flip each piece over and cut down the entire length of the thigh meat. Then turn it sideways and you can cut yourself some nice cubed portions. Then load everything into a bowl. Now here I'm going to cut a lemon, and you can use a lime if you prefer. We're also going to need some garlic, and of course, to get our chipotle taste, we're going to use 1 chipotle pepper in adobo sauce. And you want to cut this to the point where it's practically minced. And then add that to your chicken. Now for our dry ingredients. A little bit of kosher salt, some black pepper, and some cumin. And you want to use a fair amount. Give that a good stir. And if you want, you can take this right to the stove, or you can marinate it in the fridge for a few hours. But here on a hot pan, I'm going to splash in some olive oil. I want to make sure you cover the whole bottom. And over medium heat, we're going to add our chicken. And you just want to mix this thoroughly. Give it a good toss, make sure that oil is getting incorporated. And then what you're going to see here on the bottom is it's going to start to glaze the bottom of the pan. Don't worry about that. As soon as the moisture starts releasing out of the chicken, it's going to be alright. And you add a little bit of dried oregano. Then come back over with that lemon or the lime if you prefer. Give another good toss. And after several minutes here on the stove, this is what it should look like. And once you see that fond deglazing out the bottom, you know you're done. And there you have it, Chipotle chicken, right here in the Poor Man's Gourmet Kitchen. Thank you for watching, and be sure to stop by PoorMansGourmetKitchen.com for more recipes and exact ingredients. Let me formally introduce you to Cocheta. This is beef cheek meat. This can normally be found by the beef tongues and oxtails in your supermarket. And we're just going to take this, put it straight into a crock pot, throw the lid on it, and we're going to cook this on low for 10 hours. And just before it's done cooking, we're going to start cutting our ingredients, starting with this chopped onion. We're also going to need some fresh cilantro. And of course we're going to need a fresh lime. And that'll pretty much cover our fresh ingredients. Now it should be done, so let's investigate. As you can see, it's put off a lot of liquid and it's just falling apart. So we're good to go. At this point, you just gotta hack through it here with a spoon and it'll just fall apart. I mean, it's just incredibly tender. Now all we have to do is throw down some seasoning. I always just start with salt and pepper, and you're going to need a lot of it, so be generous. You're also going to need some cumin, and be generous with this as well, because you want that flavor fully embedded in that meat. Also some chili powder. Then you want a freshly squeezed lime right over the top of that. And go ahead and use both halves of the lime you cut. Then you want to ladle out some of that stock left over from the roast. Pour it right over the top of the meat. This will keep it moist. Then you want to give it a good stir, make sure all those ingredients are incorporated. Make sure all the meat is flavored and tastes the same. But speaking of taste, now's a good time to taste it and make sure it's to your liking. But I'm going to add a little bit more salt. But recipes like this are to taste, so make sure that you adjust it to your specific tastes. Now in a hot pan you want to start heating up your corn tortillas. You just throw it down for a couple seconds on one side, then flip it over, and then wait about 8 to 10 seconds and look for these high rises, these bubbles. Then you flip it over, and as you can see I've got a little color imprint on that side. A few more seconds, it's ready to pull back out. Just like that. Now just fill them with meat. Top it with some onions and that fresh cilantro. Now if you like chili verde with your street tacos, try this link at the end of my video for enchilada sauce. It's pretty much one and the same. And there you have it, street tacos right here in the Poor Man's Gourmet kitchen. Thank you for watching, and be sure to stop by PoorMansGourmetKitchen.com for more recipes and exact ingredients. Here I've got a 4-pound beef chuck, and I'm going to heavily season both sides with kosher salt and fresh ground black pepper. And you can either add this to a slow cooker or a casserole dish and cook it in the oven like I'm going to do. Now I'm going to add 1 small chopped onion to a blender, add several garlic cloves, some chipotle peppers and adobo sauce, apple cider vinegar, cumin, turmeric, ground cloves, and dried Mexican oregano. I'm also going to add a squeeze of fish sauce, but if you don't have this, you can add an anchovy or anchovy paste. Now here I've got my homemade fresh red enchilada sauce. It's very simple to make. I just de-seed red chilies, and I add them to a pot. I cover them with broth, and once I've cooked that down, I put them in a blender with several different herbs and seasonings, as well as some fresh garlic. And once this has all been blended together, you just want to add it to a strainer that you can just sift through all the bulk, so you can end up with this nice smooth sauce. And I have a full detailed video on how to make this in the description below. But the important thing is to have this at the ready, so you can just add this to our other ingredients for our barbacoa. Once you've blended all of these ingredients together, just cover the top of that beef chuck so it can marinate in this sauce for 24 hours. And on a side note here, it's a good idea to add some cheek meat or some oxtails if you want a gamier taste in your barbacoa. And once it's done marinating, you want to just take it straight to the oven, and you want to bake it at 275 degrees for 4 hours. And when it's done, it should look something like this. As you can see, this beef chuck is completely smothered and drowned in flavor. I like to separate the meat in another bowl so I can fork it apart. And just look how tender that meat is. But don't think for 1 second we're done here. We're going to take a fresh lime here and squeeze that right over the top. And once you've squeezed in both halves, you want to take that juice that was left over in that casserole dish and pour it right over the top of all of our barbacoa. At this point, all of the seasoning is complete, minus your personal preference for salt and pepper. And you want to just do that to taste. But I like to use kosher salt, and just a heads up, I generally use quite a bit. And once you've got this all stirred in, you're ready to serve. I like to serve this over 2 heated white corn tortillas. Then I hit it with some chopped green onion and some fresh chopped cilantro. Don't forget the lime. And there you have it. Barbacoa right here in the Poor Man's Gourmet Kitchen. Thank you for watching, and be sure to stop by PoorMansGourmetKitchen.com for more recipes and exact ingredients.